Hey, Wolves won, Fulham 0 on Sunday. One of the most entertaining games I've ever seen. Ralph, I'll start with you. Opinions on that first half to start off with?
I text you at halftime, Harry, saying, how can anybody be still doing a Wolves YouTube channel and a Wolves podcast? Because it was so tedious. And both my dad and grandfather texted me to say that they fell asleep during the first half. My dad said, from what I understand, there was a shot on target. But, I mean, considering the week before against West Ham was so dreadful and we got absolutely bummed, that it was quite good to just get 3 points on the board. And the way the commentators were going on about it kick-starting our season, I don't think it was quite that bad. We lost 2 of the first 3 games, but we played quite well against Sheffield United for the first 5 minutes. So it's been a bit of a strange start to the season. I think we were expecting more from the West Ham game. Everybody texted me in the morning saying, Fulham, no problem, you beat them. I said, I think it'd be 0-0. We just haven't got that attacking impetus or threat that we should have with the players that we have got at our disposal at the minute.
Yeah, talk about our players at our disposal, Baylis. Sace started left wing back. Podence was back. What did you think of the starting lineup? No, Matinho as well. Dendoncker actually came in for him.
I think it's almost as good as we're going to get. I think Matinho and Dendonker's a bit of a toss-up at the moment, given performances. I think we're just boring. It's just not... It's not entertaining to watch, is it? I know that we're trying to change the system and it's all about the long game. We're thinking about 4 or 5 years' time. Sadly, I've been sat in my house for like 6 months. I don't give a toss about 5 years' time. I want to watch something entertaining now. Right now, I want to be entertained.
Yeah. And, well, what, Kilman coming as well? Left centre-back.
Do you know what?
Wing back.
I thought he was slow first half. I didn't think he had a great first half, but second half he improved a lot. And I thought he actually did pretty well. That said, it's against Fulham. So I don't want to see what happens when he comes up against a decent forward line, but we'll see.
The big chance of the first half, Tom, was Nelson Semedo, the new boy. I thought he had a pretty good game. We'll get to you in a minute, Baylis, but he probably should have scored that, shouldn't he? But a good save from the Fulham keeper.
I think it's one of those that happened so quickly that you got to credit the keeper. Did a great job to smother it. Although they gave the keeper loads of credit for the first save. I can't remember who had the shot, but it was a very, very straightforward save. And he fumbled it right into the path of Semedo. But yeah, he hasn't set the world alight so far, Semedo, but he looks like a very, very good player, I think. And he looks like he's going to be, he's a lot better than Doherty.
I can tell you haven't been doing much football stuff over the last few months, can't we?
Baylis, you literally set our WhatsApp group on fire. What's your opinion on Nelson Semedo, mate? Because you writ off Neto last year, and Neto's become one of our better.
And I apologised in writing. I formally apologised in writing to Pedro Neto. Semedo is one of the worst players I've ever seen in a New Era Wolves shirt. You can't attack particularly well. Everything goes backwards. We're not looking to break around the back, get to the byline and square it back like we did with Doherty and Traore. Every touch he gets on the line goes backwards into midfield. No attacking flair whatsoever.
No attacking flair? He had our best chance of the first half.
Oh, what? Making a run and missing a one-on-one, missing a sitter.
And also, Nuno did come
Bully
out
would have
he also was 60% fit. He was 60% fit.
Doherty had scored it. Okay, let's go back to the real point. When he gets possession in an attacking half, and a couple of times he did it where he was on the game line looking to break forward, he gets the ball under control nicely, good feet, he's clearly got decent skill, passed it backwards. We're never going in an attacking manner. We're not building much. And you can see it in the performances. We're not creating chances.
That could be said about the whole team, though. The whole team goes backwards and sideways all the time.
I mean, I don't know how you can write him off after 2 games, Baylis. You can't say he's the worst player you've ever seen after 2 games. He played how many 100 games for Barcelona?
I just think
literally. You're jumping to conclusions too quickly, mate.
Mate, Jack Williams would look a decent footballer if he had Messi and Suarez next to him. Like Bambi on ice.
So your argument is he don't need to be. He's not a good defender at all, and he's never shown that because
he's crap going backwards and he hasn't got much going forwards. Now, if we start playing more of the old style Wolves where we're trying to break the game line, trying to play on the counter attack, and he starts bombing forward and he's rapid and he'll skin people and he'll get to the byline and square it back for goals. Great, do it. Fantastic. That works with our style of football, I think, and that's how Wolves create opportunities and score goals. But what I've watched him play is really boring. It's not attacking. It's not goal-minded football. It's not something that's going to go and win you games. Well, we're supposed to be getting better. We're not getting better. In my opinion,
apart from Neto, I think he was our second best player on the day. Talking of Neto.
No, Donker was good. Kilman had a good game. Coley had a good game. Bolly had an all right game.
I can't believe. Yeah, I agree with all that, but how are you saying Semedo's as bad as you are? It is beyond me. I bet there's people listening to this now probably turned off listening to you say that. But Neto got the goal. I thought, great finish. Tom, what's your thoughts on him?
I think I've put him and Vinagre in before the restart as the two players to watch for the next couple of years.
Yeah,
don't bother about Vinagre anymore. But Neto is going to be. I think he's got the potential to be our best player for 2 or 3 years to come, and hopefully he can maintain a high level of performance. But he's, I don't know, he just seems on it and he seems eager to improve all the time. I know that he's spoken when he first signed about how that he was desperate to become the best player in the world, and he wanted to do that under Nuno. Well, he hasn't had a bad start, and considering he's only 19 still, I think there's a lot to come from him.
I think that's a fair comment, Tom. But that's the difference, isn't it? Is that Neto is in his late teens, going into his early 20s. That's when you progress. Semedo's 26. He's not going to get much better.
Well, Semedo's come from the best team in the world, arguably, or one of the best teams in the world, to Wolverhampton. It might take him a little bit of time to settle into life in general. I don't know how fit he is. I know that the Spanish season's a couple of weeks behind ours, is it, in terms of when it started? So whether that could be playing into it. I did notice, again, the West Ham game, the gaps between him and Bolly on the right centre-back and right wing-back were huge. That got better in the Fulham game. It's going to take a while for all these new players to gel in. You know, we got a brand new left back who I imagine is going to play because we haven't got anybody else who can. So it's going to take a couple of weeks, and it might take a couple of maulings at the hands of some average teams for us to learn and to get better. It's
the only comparison,
as Nuno would say, it's a process.
The only comparison I've got to it is Everton started really slowly last year and got put on the back of a couple, even though they beat us at their place. They got put on the back of a couple of good hidings, and now it's paid dividends, and they look really good now. But I still think there's a bit of a different level between what we've done and they've done. But Dan said, Hoover looks great. He looks a good player. You can tell when he's on the pitch, he looks a decent player. I'm not seeing that with Semedo.
Well, I think the big worry, I don't know how you can judge that after literally he's played about 10 minutes anyway. But I think the big worry from all the fans on social media was after the win was we were literally playing the worst team in the league in Fulham. We've been dicked every game apart from this one. We sat back and was holding on at the end. And if Kamara would have scored that chance when Mitrovic passed it across to him, could have been 1-1. Are you worried? Because I think even Nuno come out and criticised the performance again, like he did against West Ham. Can you see us improving going forward? Because it is a bit worrying seeing the way we're sitting back against potentially the worst team in the league, Baylis.
I think that's just... They're clearly trying something new with the football, and it's not entertaining to watch, and they're learning how to deal with this system. But Fulham are clearly the worst about at the moment. The only shining light they had is that Lookman that came on. That fantastic.
Good player.
Brilliant. Tore us to shreds a couple of times. But they're already doomed, aren't they?
Yeah, Roush.
Talk about writing people off after a few games. You can write Fulham off.
Roush, you've said so many times to me how disillusioned you have been with Wolves' football. Have you still got that opinion after watching that Fulham game, even though we did win?
Well, I'm not going to say no. It charmed me. No, it was terrible. But I haven't followed what Nuno said in the press the last couple of weeks. But from what I understand, he wants this possession-based game. You only have to look at our games in the last 2 or 3 years. The games where we have more possession than the opposition, we either draw or we lose. We are not good in possession. And I understand it's going to take a long time, but why not just play to your strengths? We are good on the counter-attack. We bought players now to even improve that with Semedo. You know, everyone went on about us having the fastest right side of any Premier League team. Why are we not playing to our strengths rather than just passing sideways and backwards all day long? Who knows?
Here's a worry. We've got the international break to come. I just want to quickly get your lads' opinion on the Man United and Liverpool game.